that shit set up yet.
Gotcha.
All right. Everybody, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Dueling with Dooley. I got my co-host Matt here, and we got a special guest, former neighbor, former Buccaneers player, former Temple player, and former DC defender, Cole Boozer. Cole, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for joining. We were talking a little bit right before this started recording, and I told you about Matt's beard. That thing's pretty impressive, right?
He's got, I don't know what he does, conditions it and everything like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude. Hey, Matt, can you hear us, bro? No? All right. Anyway, so Cole, what's it like transferring from being a professional athlete to, you know, everyday life, going back to coaching, dealing with the everyday intricacies of, you know, just life in general? How do you feel?
It's interesting. As you can kind of tell, I've lost a little bit of weight. I'm about down 50 pounds for my playing weight, maybe a little bit more. Okay. Feels nice on the body. Obviously, I wasn't supposed to be that heavy. Obviously, my body hurt pretty bad when I played, but it feels better now. But it's good, you know, it's a little different. It's, you know, playing was more of, all right, just work your body, and mentally, obviously, working a little bit of that when it comes to the game. But
right.
It's a lot more now, the coaching side, a lot more mental stuff. I would say it's been different. Not what I'm used to, but, you know, I'm just flying by the seat of my pants, I guess you could say, just figuring it out.
Yeah. Hey, at least you didn't go the other way. A lot of people that retire, they gain.
They
gain weight,
either go
right?
up or down. Especially a lot of my buddies either go up or down. A lot of my lineman buddies have gone down. Surprisingly, a lot of them I thought would go up, and they didn't. I'm just blessed to have gone down. I definitely took me a lot of work to keep my weight up. I think I was eating like 7-8 meals a day just to like keep myself at 300 plus.
Yeah.
But I'm just happy I can eat like a normal person now and eat 3 meals a day and just maintain what I'm at now. And so I'm just lifting and keep myself in shape.
Yeah. I mean, what is that nutrition like? Yeah, now I can hear you.
Cool. Yeah, I was having some headphone issues, but my bad. Hey, how's it going, man? I'm Matt.
Good. Nice to meet you, Matt.
Nice to meet you, too.
So
nutrition?
I'm a little bit curious. I'm curious about that nutrition. You say that you were eating 7 to 8 times a day. Now, is that what the teams prescribe you, or is it?
Yeah. So when I was in college, I was my redshirt junior year. I was playing tight end. I was 272, 275. Got a new staff here with Coach Jeff Collins, who was recently at Georgia Tech. He just got fired, but good dude. And for their offense, it wasn't the new offensive coordinator. Was a very much heavy run. It was run, but it wasn't like to get off football and you're like 22 personnel, 2 tight ends, fullback, running back, power, like run the ball. It was more, you know, like the college offenses are now. It's like, you know, RPO and all that outside zone and all that stuff. And so I wasn't exactly the prototypical tight end that offense wanted. So they were like, hey, like, we need a tackle. Cole, like, can you put the weight on? And I was just like, all right, whatever's best for the team. And when I first got to college, actually, Matt Rule, who was my first head coach who recruited me, he was like, oh, you're going to be a tackle. You'll be an NFL tackle, or you could just be a tight end. And I was just like, all right, well, I never believed him. And then I put the weight on. And so my senior year, from the spring of my senior year, going into my last season, I put on 25 pounds in 5 months, give or take.
Oh, my God.
And that was a challenge. It was a lot of eating, getting up early, eat. I split up my day. I probably, calorie-wise, probably close to 8,000 to 10,000 calories a day. So it was like probably 6 or 7 in food. And then, like, I had my offensive line coach, who's my offensive line coach here now, was like, you eat this much a day, and then after that, you drink a 4,000-calorie shake before you go to bed. And not exactly sometimes the most enjoyable.
those mornings must have been.
Oh yeah,
wow.
100%. 100%. I was. I'll tell you this: that shake puts you to bed. Though you weren't tired, you drank that. You were knocked out. And now I'm here. I have to like. At first, when we first got here, the offensive linemen weren't very heavy, and we needed to be a bit heavier. And I think, let's see, a couple of them I had to make these shakes. I probably made 7 or 8 shakes a day for these kids. Or for these players, excuse me. And they actually did put a lot of weight on, which I was pumped about that it was working. And we had a tracker on them and everything like that. But it was good, though. It helped out a lot. Sorry.
So that's all right. So when it comes to gaining weight fast, is it a mix of eating a bunch of food with weightlifting, or is it more of the food and the weightlifting is just kind of keeping the physique?
No. So, I mean, I had It's a bit of both, obviously. I gotta, you can't just eat and you get fat. You get that, that big gut.
Jason Kelsey.
He's not that bad. When I was here, I actually trained with him in the off season. He came by, and I worked out with him once or twice. Really good dude. Not as big as people think he is.
Yeah, dude's a fucking legend.
Not as big as people think he is. He's probably about. When I saw him, he just got done climbing Kilimanjaro with Haloti Nada and Bo Allen. And he said he lost, just climbing, he said he lost like 20 pounds. Like when I saw him, he was about 275.
I believe it.
And then,
I believe it too.
But he's a great dude overall. He's awesome.
Yeah.
What's that like, getting a personal insight from player? Was Kelsey in the league when you were going like through high school and stuff?
Matt, you might. I mean, you're an Eagles fan. He's probably been there. He's been there for a long time now.
Yeah, he's his 13th year in season. So you guys have definitely been in the league together.
Yeah,
so
so that's gonna be crazy.
Oh yeah, no, that guy is technically sound everywhere. He's quick, he's fast, he's smart, and I just tried to. I lifted with him one time. It was just really interesting. Really good dude, though.
And he's the Eagles center, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
best center in the league. Let's be honest.
He's up there for sure. He's definitely one of them.
Yeah. So I do have a question for you, actually.
Go ahead.
Quick.
Sorry.
So you mentioned going from tight end to tackle. What did you think of that transition? Like, was it something that you found super hard, or was it something that kind of just slid in because, there's one difference between route running and then one difference between, just leaning into somebody and trying to hold back?
So going from tight end to tackle, I was kind of happy because I was not the fastest tight end. It's one of the reasons why I moved, obviously. But it was nice because I was actually one of the faster linemen. I was like, all right, cool, I'm kind of fast now. But, it was interesting. At first, I didn't understand the whole pass set stuff. It took a while. When it came to the coaching stuff with my line coach here, Chris Ruiz, he was just like, just listen to what I have to say, and it'll work. And so you see it in camp, I'm like going against these guys, and these DNs that we had at the time were just frying me up. Couldn't win a rep. Like, I couldn't block a soul in one-on-ones. You'd be like, dude, this guy stinks. Like, this guy's awful. Come to find out, those DNs and D linemen ended up being NFL guys that still play in the league today. Jason Martin plays for the Broncos now. Okay. He got drafted in the 6th or 7th round. Sharif Finch he's a defensive end. Was a priority free agent to the Titans, and Julian Taylor was a 7th round draft pick to the 49ers. So like playing against those dudes, I was like, damn, I can't. But like he told me, he always tells me this. He's like, I was always worried like that first game because we opened up with Notre Dame. My senior year is my first it was my first start as a tackle. And I was just like, he was just like really like whatever. And then he saw me after the first series, and I did well. I mean, and he's just like, all right, he told the offensive coordinator, he's like, all right, we can go. Like, we can throw the ball over these guys. Like, let's do it. Only let up 1 sack that game, and I wasn't, it was whatever. Like, but I had 3 pancakes that game. Like, I did well, and, I had 2 on screens and 1 in pass pro, and it was kind of cool. I was just like, all right, like I can do this. Like if I could go against these guys, I can do well in our league. So.
So it sounds like the game slowed down really quick for you
because of the
at
way
that moment.
he taught me. It was a lot of like, there's a lot more into it, just other than just blocking dudes. Like you got to be smart. Like,
right.
I get film review with the quarterbacks every week. Like so, like the way my coach taught me, it was just like he taught me coverages as an offensive lineman, and as a tackle, I could see where the blitz is coming from. Based off obviously film review and learning how to see blitzes, it helped as the tight end because I knew coverages a little bit.
Right.
And just seeing like the signs, like, oh, okay, this guy's like, there's a safety over top of the linebacker. That linebacker's probably coming, right? And so I would just tell the quarterback, I'm like, hey, I would turn around to my quarterback, hey, Frank, change the protection. This guy's coming, right? So then he would change the protection and we'd pick it up, right? It wasn't, I had a pretty good season though. But yeah, a lot of the reason why I made it to the NFL was because of the guy, my offensive line coach here. So
that's legit.
So you played, was it left tackle or right tackle?
In college, I played right.
Okay.
In the NFL, I moved to left, which was an interesting transition because it seems like not a big deal, and then you have to do the muscle memory the other side, and you're like, whoa, this feels weird. And then eventually I got to the point where I could play left and right. Where it was no issue.
Oh, so you were useful.
Yeah. I could definitely. Once I learned how to play left, I was like, all right, cool. You could put me either left or right tackle, no big deal.
Which side do you prefer?
Left, only because if getting football again, like my post foot's my right foot. I'm a righty, and so I could push off my right foot, and then when I have to power down, I can have my right foot as like a power down stance.
Okay.
But yeah, left was nice. It was not a big deal. Right was not a big deal either. But left was my preference, I guess, once I learned left.
For those that aren't too familiar with offensive line play, could you quickly just explain the difference between left tackle and right tackle? If you say you just have a normal right-handed quarterback, what's the main differences
so as
right
a left tackles more times than not are the guys as a right-handed quarterback are the backside of the quarterback. Like they're protecting his backside where he can't see. So their left tackles are usually guys that are more agile, quick, can move their feet well. Right tackles more maulers, but then again, like guys who can run block. The quarterback can see it if something happens if he's a right-handed quarterback. Like I said, and if you have a really good offensive tackle who can do both, at left tackle like Trent Williams, that dude's an absolute freak. Jason Peters for the Eagles when he was in his prime, dude could do it all.
Yes,
so
Ronnie
Stanley, good dude too. Like I said, if you can get, those are the guys who obviously get drafted, like big time draft picks, because they can do both and they're agile enough and they're athletic enough. So
now, in college, are there any right tackles in college that show promise for left tackle? Do recruiters take that into account and say, hey, we need a left tackle, we can transition this guy in a couple years, let's just draft him for the left tackle position?
Yes and no. It really depends. Like a lot of those guys will keep, if they're a left, it means they can play left and right. You probably either get moved inside, but if you're athletic enough and you can swing tackles, then that's even better. The more you can do, the longer you stay in the league. That's essentially what I was told, and I believe that for a fact.
Now, when it comes to tackles, now transition to guards, is left guard on a right-handed quarterback just as important as the tackle?
Yes and no.
Is there
he's
more
going to see it in his face if it's coming, right? So that's
okay.
It's kind of, but then again, when he's dropping back, he can see the interior three. The backside left tackle, a lot of the times he can't see it because those guys are rushing the edge of the dish. I like to call it the pocket. So he's not going to be able to see those guys coming off the left side because they're so wide versus those guys that are more interior side. You can see it.
Okay. Well, here's a pretty technical question for me at least, because I'm not for you. But so you're left tackle. Say you're lined up left tackle. You have someone right in front of you, line nose up on you, and then you have, say, a corner that's coming in from the left side showing
Sure.
blitz. Now, do you kind of like push the guy in front of you a little bit and then swing out to the guy that's coming and then the guard moves over? Or how does that
So
does
if
that
I
protection
know
work?
there's a corner crash coming, right? So based off what I've learned, and it actually pans out a lot based off going forward, the safety will be off the hash. So if the ball is down here, right, whatever that, I'm on the left side. And this corner, the safeties are usually either one up or a little bit over right on the hash mark, because then the other safety has to be towards the field. Now, if this safety is off the hash a little bit more, and that corner is pressed up on the wide receiver, I'm thinking, okay, corner crash, this dude, especially because this dude's head up. I know for a fact, I tell my guard, hey, watch the crash is coming. We're going to change the protection right now. Here it comes. And so now I'm setting vertical. I'm letting this guy know it's coming. So he already snaps his eyes left. He knows it's coming. This guy's going to hit him, left guard. And that corner, I'm setting for him, waiting for him to come to me. Because I'm not going to go attack him, right? Because those guys are 185 to 200 pounds and run 4.5. I'm going to let him try to go through me or go around me, and then I just punch him and push him away. So that's kind of how I would, mentality-wise, think of that play.
So is that usually the time where you hope you have somebody in the backfield that can help pick up?
True. If we don't switch the protection, I hope the running back can see it. But that's why I'm communicating to the quarterback, hey, what we used to call creeper or something like that. Hey, look, Frank, it's coming. Look here. And then if they don't change it, if he doesn't like the protection change, he'll keep it. He sees something else. The running back will come back and scan for that corner coming off the edge, and he'll have to pick him up.
See, these are the kind of things that when people are watching football on Sunday, right, and you see a corner come screaming from the edge, get past the tackle, and sack the quarterback, people are like, oh, our O-line sucks. Our O-line sucks. And you're like, and then I'm sitting over here, and I'm like, I know a little bit about the game, not nearly as much as you, obviously, but I'm like, no, listen, he's got someone right in front of him. They're doing a stunt, where the D-tackle moves over to the right end once the ball snaps, and now you got a corner coming in. It's like, what do I do? Do I just go put both my arms out like this?
For me, I was a big vertical set guy, so instead of some teams in the NFL, they'll set this, more width, and some people teach that. I've been taught by the guy, Coach Ruiz here, and then I had in Tampa Bay, George Warhop, who taught Joe Thomas, Joe Staley, Larry Allen, all this stuff. He's a vertical set guy. And so for me, that was perfect time. It made perfect sense for me. So I set vertical, let everything kind of develop in front of me, and I can see the whole picture when it comes, right? And when you set vertical and you know a third down, for example, right? And these guys, the interior guys are going to twist, or the DN's going to twist and go around him. The DN's going to try to hit my guard, and his guy's going to try to loop around him. Right, so my goal on that point is to push the DN over, to knock him over to the guard. The guard will then knock into him, so he knows he's coming, and I can just pull his guy across and then just block him that way. It's a lot of football. I just put at you. It's just I just understand it a little bit to a crazy point. But as just coaching and
I'm trying to see it in my head. I'm like, God damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to pull up my Madden practice and just start sitting in the left corner.
It might be easier. Would it be easier? Can I flip this camera? I can put it on the board.
Oh, that
would be sick.
Let me see if
that
I
would be
can.
great.
Well, we're about to get
We're about to get some inside football.
Let me see if I can.
Dude, let's go.
Oh no, hold on. Can I flip this camera? I might not be able to flip this camera. All right, so this is what we're going to do. I'll just kind of hold it like this. I'm not going to be able to explain it as well. I'll just have it in front of me, and then I'll show you the board.
Okay.
Perfect.
So for those of you that are just listening right now, we have Cole Boozer. He is drawing up some protection plays on his board. We're getting some inside football from a professional. And not only that, he's a coach, so he knows it all.
So let's just say we're just doing a normal twist, awesome. Right? So ETs, right? So this guy is going to cross him, try to pick him so that he can create his game, right? Because we're going to be, if he gets picked off and I don't push him, he'll pick him off. He'll get used to going to this guy, and he'll make the play, right? So
right.
Now, what I was saying is if you know it's coming, right, and I know he's going to pick him, I'm going to push him across while this guy's looping. This guy will snap his head off, bump me off, and I'll collect this guy right here. Does that make sense?
Okay. Now I'm seeing it. Yeah, that's
so you're sliding him down to the guard and
correct.
Then
so if I have that guy in man, if I'm locked on that end right there, I have to honor him, right? So I have to knock myself down. I have to knock him into the guard for him, like push him across, pass it off, and the guard will knock into my hip, and then I'll grab the tackle that's coming across, the D tackle that's coming across.
Dang.
Okay. Yeah, no. When you show it like that, it definitely makes more sense. So for those of you that are just listening, if you want to switch over to Spotify, the video will be up on Spotify, so you can take a look at what we're talking about exactly. So Cole, I want to get into some of your career at Tampa, and then transitioning to DC, and then what you have going on now. So in Tampa, I did tell a bunch of my friends that I'm going to be doing this podcast, and we have a fan question, to be honest. I'm going to take a second to pull it up here, but basically what I am very curious about, you were there in 2018, right?
It's my rookie year.
Okay, so that was the year, I think, Vita Vea.
Yeah, he was in my draft class. He was the first-round draft pick that year.
Dude, I gotta hear this.
Did you ever line up across from him?
I've done that before, and I've seen. He's a strong dude, man. That dude. They would stop one-on-ones early because they didn't want when you're taking on a bull rush, you're supposed to hop, or you're supposed to have your hands on and double hop with your feet to stop him. Yeah. I'll do another visual demonstration here. You see me? So you're supposed to hop, right, to stop him from the bull rush, right? So the reason why you do that, right, is to make sure the guy, you're thinking, okay, we're thinking he's going to, he's winning it, but he's not really winning at the end of the day. Right. But because he's so strong, he's going to obviously, get some more oomph, and he had a great get-off. Still has a good get-off. And we would just stop the drill early if he bull rushed because we're we don't want him to pop our center's Achilles or anything like that. So we would just kind of all right, you're good. Whatever like that, it's fine.
Hey,
I hate to do this real quick. I hate to do this because I know obviously you can tell I'm an Eagles fan, but so by you explaining that exact thing, you're gonna break a bunch of people's hearts because the moment that we all saw Jordan Davis, the Eagles first round pick, just manhandle Cam Jordan and just pop him all the way back. Everybody's like, "Oh, he got manhandled. Jordan Davis is a monster." But now that all makes more sense. You don't want to pop the Achilles. So.
It's that and just more of like I said, the hop is you're trying to stop him thinking he's winning, but in reality you're only hopping probably a couple inches off the ground, and you're stopping his movement. So he's thinking he's winning the rush, but in reality my weight and force is holding him in. If that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, no.
Is that when you hope your boy helps out?
Yeah, I mean, if I was playing inside, 100%.
You're like, hell,
with
bro,
him too, Vita Vea, they would sometimes line him up at the end, and I was just this isn't gonna be good. So there's a different way to handle that, and if I knew he had a great get off and I knew he was really strong, I didn't want him to get his second foot in the ground. So we call it here colt setting. In Tampa Bay, we call it jump set, where you essentially would just get on him really fast, right? You would look like a run block almost, but it's not. And it changes your setup. So he's thinking you're really it's a pass play, but then you're looking like it's a run. And so if I can get him before he gets his second foot in the ground, if I get on him already, then I can stop his force from actually going forward.
So you're the one. So at that point, you're the one initiating the contact to try to
almost like that. Yeah, I learned that here in Temple at Temple. The game I really used it was when we played Cincinnati in 2017. They had these 300-pound DNs, and that time I'm playing at tackle. I lose a little bit of pounds during the season, so I was 290, and I vert set this dude at the very beginning, and this dude just blows me up into the quarterback. I'm holding my own, but the quarterback is oh shit, you know what I mean? Sorry, I didn't mean to curse.
No, you're good. You can say whatever the fuck you want here.
But I'm like, oh God, I'm like, all right, I got to do something. I got to change this up, right? So I was like, all right, well, this dude's stronger than me right now. So maybe if I cold set him, right, he won't be able to, because he wasn't a fast get off guy. But if he got enough speed, he got the second, third step in the ground. He's trying to bowl through me. So I'm like, okay, this is his move. So I'm going to cold set him, or I'm going to jump set him and hold him on the ball. So I told the line coach, hey, do you mind if I cold set this guy? He's like, yeah, it's fine. Just be wary, like, if they twist. I said, yeah, you're fine. Like, I'm like, all right, cool. Next drive, I cold set him the whole drive, and we score. And I'm coming off the sideline laughing. And he's like, what you laughing at? I was just like, dude, this guy stinks. Like, this guy's awful. He can't even get his foot in the ground. He can't even get his second foot in the ground. Like, I'm like, it's easy. It's a wrap. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, it was easy at that point. So then the rest of the game, we ended up beating Cincinnati. A game.
And this was in 2017, right?
And when I played here, we never lost to Cincinnati. Still Luke Fickell.
Is that your big rival?
We didn't really have Temple doesn't have a super rival, I guess you could say. Like, there's Rutgers, and then there's, because the Jersey Philly thing. Yeah, a huge
Jersey Philly thing.
But whatever. Like, I guess you could say that. But yeah, like, they were a good team though. So,
can you take me through what it's like to get recruited out of high school? Like how many offers?
Sure. So
like what was that like for you?
I was very I wouldn't say under recruited. I wasn't very smart in high school. I went to a pretty smart school, Loyola Blakefield. For some of you guys know, Roll Don's Roll.
They play tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow. Shout out to them. I'm excited to see that. I'm gonna watch it here probably if we get out of practice early enough. And I wasn't very smart, but I was getting recruited as an outside linebacker actually, not as a tight end. And
okay,
damn.
God damn, that's a big ass linebacker.
Big. I was probably 220, 215.
Okay.
Ran kind of fast for my size. So they were like, I had like NC State, not like offers. These are just interests, right? NC State, Maryland, West Virginia, Boston College. I got all the letters in an accordion file in my house. Temple, blah, 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 JMU, whatever. And like, you go to all these camps throughout the summer. Like, I should have gone my junior year. I didn't. Because I didn't really know it back then. It wasn't as big as it is now. Like, a lot of people like all go to camps, and that's how you get recognized. And I realize that now, obviously, as a coach. Excuse me, that a lot of you find these guys through camps. If they're like, they just pop off, right? So I went to a couple camps.
Right.
NC State, a couple other spots, and NC State wanted me as a middle linebacker. And unfortunately, I was the next guy on their list. I wasn't I was like, they took three linebackers. I was the fourth. I would have been the fourth. So they're like, I can't take it. So I was like, it's okay. Like, no biggie. Like, whatever. So grades weren't great, though. Like, a lot of schools kind of thought I wasn't smart enough to do it, but because the whole grading scale at Will was a little weird. And I, figured it out. And Temple actually came spring of my senior year. They said, hey, like, if you get through this, like, we're going to offer you, but we want you to gray shirt. Meaning, we're not going to bring you in the fall, we're going to bring you in the winter. Right? And so I would have just worked out and waited for like that. So I'm like, all right, cool. I got an offer. This is awesome. Like, lifelong dream. Like, let's go. Not lifelong dream, but on the process to my dream. And I was just like, all right, like, great, I got an offer. This is awesome. Best day, one of the best days of my life. And I'm doing the Loyola camp for football. And I get a call from the tight ends coach, Ed Foley. And he goes, hey, like, we want you to come in this fall. And I was like, we need you to move in like 2 weeks. And I was just like, oh, all right, sounds good. My mom's like, all right, let's get packing, let's go. So I packed my stuff and headed off to the Temple. And so that was the kind of thing. And I knew people here that were close. Like, my aunt works downtown. Not my aunt, my mom's good friend. Works downtown. And my uncle, who's not really my uncle, he's my dad's fraternity brother, but really, really family close-wise. He works in New Jersey in Cherry Hill, right across the bridge. So I had connections here. I was only 2 hours from home. It was a good decision. I was just like, you know, I thought that was just the best move. So I was like, let's do it. I'm good.
So now when you get there, you said you gray shirted, and that's in
I
December.
would have gray shirted, right? But they brought me in early. So actually, they brought me in right away. So I didn't actually gray shirt. I was coming in, and they said, "Hey, we're going to put weight on you, so we're going to red shirt you." So I said, "Okay, cool." So I'm 220. I get there, I gain like 5-10 pounds, obviously right off the rip because I'm lifting more, I'm eating more, like good to go. So I was like 230 my freshman year. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dude, that's so you get the offer, right? You get it. I mean, I assume it's in the mail. It's a letter.
Well, it was a phone
like
call. It was not an official letter, I guess you could say, until later. But he gave me a phone call and was like, "Hey, we're going to give you a scholarship offer," and I was so excited, like for everything. So,
do you just accept right away on the phone? Do you talk with your mom a little bit?
Yeah, let's do this. Like, I'm down. Like, 100%. It was my only scholarship offer coming out of high school. 0-star rivals deal, like, whatever that is. I mean, I don't believe in that star stuff. It doesn't really make sense to me.
I was just about to ask you about that, this whole rivals thing, man. You see people that are, like, 5-star recruits, and it's like...
a lot of that is projection-based. I wasn't really well-known, I guess, in rivals. A little bit, not a lot. Saw me as an outside linebacker, so obviously I had 0 stars, and then linebacker, and then tight end. 0 stars, but stars don't mean anything. It's a projection, like I said, and it's a lot about, okay, you got projected to do this. You projected to be a 5-star, great. But, like, what are you going to do when you get there? That was a lot of things where I saw guys that were 4 stars and 3 stars that never panned out, that ended up not playing well, not even playing in college, not playing a snap, or getting a start ever. Like, and I was just like, all right, well, I just I got one scholarship offer out of high school, and I was just like, dude, I'm gonna just grind. I'm gonna figure it out, right? And then eventually worked my way through, and finally really got to play a little bit of my redshirt sophomore year, a lot my redshirt junior year, and my senior year played in tackle.
Okay. Nice, dude.
So at what point, how old were you when you decided, like, look, football's the career path I'm trying to go down. Like, this is what I want to do.
I'll tell you this. So as a little kid, when I was 7, maybe a little bit young, like young. Yeah. I was young. I wouldn't say 7. My dad played football and got close to the NFL, but never got in. He got cut. Right. And I was just like, you know what? I want to play in the NFL. Like, as a little kid, I was just like, I want to play in the NFL. And, you always hear that stuff like, oh, you're not going to make it. Like, whatever, like that. Everybody says that as a little kid. Like, oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. And I was just like, all right, well, I'm going to figure it out. Like, I'm going to just go put my head down when you guys are, like, doing whatever. I'm going to just work out. Or I'm going to run. Or I'm going to do this. I'm going to do extra sprints after practice. I'm going to do that. And it all kind of panned out where, like, I just put my head down and worked. And blessed my genes. My dad was a Delaware football player. My mom was a Delaware basketball player. So height helps right there. Yeah. And, they're pretty athletic. So that helps a little bit. But just more of the determining factor is just, putting your head down and working. So.
Yeah.
Dude, let me tell you.
You're like 6'5", right?
6'5" and some change, I guess. I like to say. Kind of like a little bit over 6'5". Yeah.
Ooh, I'm short.
Hey, Matt, let me tell you something. Me and Cole grew up in the same neighborhood. We used to play football, I remember, in his backyard.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that, Cole?
Yep.
We would I think we would play, it was like tackle football in his backyard with his brothers.
Tackle football. Like, you're playing no pads, like, whatever, let's just go. We're going to tackle, like, whatever. I was just like, this is awesome. Like, it was so much fun.
This is when you're young and you're invincible too. So it's like, I'm just gonna lower my head
my shoulder to figure this out.
If it breaks, it breaks.
That's just kind of like how how as a little kid, like just playing football outside, like let's just go outside and play football. Like, it wasn't a lot of the video game stuff that now people nowadays and social media, it was just like figure it out, right? And that sounds like I'm really old, but like, yeah, I know. I just turned 28 on the 15th, so I feel a little older now. I do feel my back a little bit. Thank you.
Well, happy birthday to that. I turned 28 in August, and it's 100% real how quick that age catches you.
So that's why I said I got to work out. I got to keep myself moving. And I got a dog, so he's not here right now. He's coming up Friday. He was with my mom all season because the hours in GA work is just insane. I would have felt bad for my dog. So I was just like, but now I walk I'll walk with him while he's here. When I'm back home, I'll walk like 3 miles a day, just based off him, because I walk a mile with him in the morning, in the afternoon, and night. So like it just keeps me healthy in a sense. Like, and when he was up here, not during the season, I'd come home from work. I'd go up on my roof. I have a little rooftop, and I'd work out up top, and he would run around with me. And I would do my push-ups, sit-ups, blah, 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 like that, and then I would run, and he would just chase me. Like, he would just chase me around, and then at the end of my workout, he's, like, exhausted. And I'm like, all right, but we got to go walk a mile now. We got to go to the bathroom. So I got to walk him out. But I'm, just trying to, just keep myself as close to shape. I probably can't get back to the strength that I had when I played, but I can get close.
Yeah, dude, that old man strength will come soon.
I'm hoping.
That dog, your dog is in better shape than most professional athletes. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I definitely believe that. Some of them for sure.
Yeah, I gave up on the fitness stuff. I got the dad bod now, bro. So that's just where I go.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's what I'm saying. I got 4 daughters, so I gotta fit the bill now.
I know. I'm over here telling Cole how tired I am because I have 2 kids, and then I forget Matt's got twins, and then two older girls too. It's like, hey, twin. Yeah. They're still under 6 months too, right?
Yeah, they just turned 4 months, so that's the blessing I didn't ask for.
No sleep for you. None for you.
Hell no.
Hey, we're all in the same boat, right?
Shit doesn't exist here anymore.
All
right, so
I got to say something real quick. Hold on, Matt. Right. What's crazy is that you have 2 younger brothers too, right? And I don't want to mess it up, but it's Evan, right? And Grayson. Correct. Okay. And Evan is currently at Tampa,
Evan,
right?
When he first got here, he was a defensive lineman out of Loyola Blakefield, and really athletic. Like, probably, I'm never going to admit this. I hope this doesn't come out. He doesn't hear the podcast.
I'm sending it to him instantly.
He is probably, not on paper, but just in general, probably more athletic than both me and my brother. And he's probably, I would say he was probably around the strength I was, maybe a little bit stronger based off his weight and size. But really, really athletic. Like, 3-star, had 10 offers coming out of high school. Like, guy was you watch his highlight tape, guy was a freak. Kind of has had a rough go in college when it comes to playing. Sorry, hold on a quick second.
No, that's okay. Yeah, so it's cool having it's like a legacy that we're talking about already. So, it's like we got the older brother.
So he had a kind of a rough go. He hurt his knee, torn his knee twice, and so it's kind of tough on him. And he kind of had a rough go with some of the staff. Like, Jeff Collins left. He recruited my brother. Was a year with Evan. Evan redshirted, and then he went to Georgia Tech. And so we had a new staff, and they don't know Evan, and, it's just interesting to figure it all out. And then, but that's just how college football is, you never know. That's why you got to like the school you go to, not the coaches. You do got to like the coaches, but still, you got to like the school if they leave. What's it called? So he, whenever played D-line, I get here, he's still playing D-line. And then this year we needed a tight end. And so they transitioned him to tight end because he wasn't getting snaps at D-line. So he's just like, all right, I'm going to play tight end. Like, sounds good. I'm going to play more. Like, he has another year eligibility, but he was just like, this is going to be my last ride. Like, I'm good. Like, I want to get out in the world. I know I'm not going to the NFL. Like, he's going to have to get knee surgery again after the season probably. But he knows he's done. So it was cool, like, for me to see that and kind of, like, see him, like, perform well and, like, figure it out.
Dude, that's got to be so cool because now you're technically – I mean, he's a tight end, but you're a assistant to the offensive lines coach, right now? So that's got to be cool now. He's on your side of the ball, and now you can talk shit to him all day.
I was trying to teach him the coaching points. When he got moved to tight end, he was a lot like, you got to teach me how to block again. I don't know how to block. I was like, all right, it's not hard. We'll just figure this out. Just go on your insteps. We'll figure it out. And it was just kind of working day by day, and he's solid. He's kind of what I did my redshirt junior year. It's a lot of blocking tight end, but he does go out on routes a lot more than I did. He's got one catch for 7 yards, and this season, nothing crazy, but he'll always hold it over my head because I only had one catch in college too, and it was 5. So, he's like,
son of a bitch.
I got you. But we had an argument the other day. Not an argument, but he was just saying, like, it was me. We were sitting at a table the night before our game. It was a home game last week. And he goes, he's like, Cole, like, I'm always going to have more yards than you in college. He's like, yeah, but I got the shield. Oh. And he's just like, what do you mean the shield? I said, if you look up my resume, I played in the NFL. Did you? And then like the tight end coach goes, yep, can't beat the shield, Evan. I don't know what to tell you.
Hey, Cole, I have a great idea for you. And tell me if this is a bad idea. So you have input on the offensive line since you're an offensive line coach. Why don't you go up to the head coach and say, hey, let's throw a screen to my brother for -3 yards?
That would be nice.
And now I have what? Yeah,
I would, but they don't design this. That's what I'm saying. They don't design the screens for him. They're not for him.
Be like, just trust and give it to him. Trust and give it to him. But make sure that he goes back 4 or 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. All right, so just trust. He can make it.
No, I mean, it would be cool to see him catch a screen, but he's a little bit more of a blocker, but does run a little routes. So
nice, dude. That's got to be so cool. Like growing up with 2 brothers, and then you see one of your brothers is in the position you were in. You can tell him all the mistakes you made. Yep. You can pretty much try to fix that up. And now, what about Grayson? Does he play football?
He went to Maryland, ended up playing rugby. That was his big sport.
Okay.
He was an all-conference rugby player at Maryland, and did really well there. Was team captain 1 or 2 years in a row. Did really well there. Now he's a financial planner / does like the insurance stuff for people now. He lives in the city now, so in Baltimore.
I see what you're doing. You're getting your brother you're getting your brother all set up in the football world. You're getting your other brother set up in the financial world. What business are you coming out with?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I got to figure it out. I'm working on that. So we'll see what happens. Evan, I don't know what Evan's going to do after college. It might be sales. He's just by the way he just acts as a person. He's just very social. Does well in that regard. Grayson's doing well, obviously, for his company. And I need him to buy his own golf clubs because I'm tired of him using my clubs. That's because I got some. So in the NFL, you get like discounts and stuff like that. So my rookie year, I bought a set of custom clubs, Callaway clubs for myself, and it was great.
Yeah.
And obviously it's not size or weight; it's just all of how you swing the club and your height. And so like Grayson was using like hand-me-down clubs, and he's just like, "Hey, can I borrow your clubs?" I said, "Yeah, sure, that's fine." And I have not gotten them back yet. So I was just like, I'm like, dude, when I get back, you're going to give me my clubs back because I'm going to go play. Like,
and he's like, I'm betting you're not coming back.
Well, it was too. Like he came to visit me in Tampa, and we went golfing. He didn't like golf at first. He hated it because he just wasn't very good at it. And, just me and my brothers were just like getting really frustrated, but we know we just got to figure it out. Like, we're going to get better at this, like, whatever. So he's pretty decent at golf now. it's off and on. It's kind of like me and him. Like we just kind of play to have fun. It's not more of like a super serious thing.
Yeah, you got to keep that competition.
When we play,
like,
I mean, it's like, I'm beating you on this hole. Like it's just,
Do you guys bet?
I mean, we bet a little bit, nothing crazy. Like, a lot of these guys like betting like how much a hole. Like we're more like, all right, well, you lose this hole, like you got to take a drink of blah blah blah, whatever it is. So.
Oh, hey Cole. Speaking of taking a drink, I want to show you something. Okay, can you boys see my screen right now?
I can now.
Oh yeah, the
Okay.
DC Defenders thing.
Can you walk us through this? What the hell happened here?
Yeah,
Hold
go
on,
ahead.
ready?
You play the video first. I'll explain it. All right, so let me walk you through that one. So it's the XFL, right? Like, first off, if I did that in the NFL, they would have fined me money, obviously. So XFL, like, I was like, I wouldn't say for my team I was the fan favorite, but I was the fan favorite. Like, I was number 69. I was Boozer, like, whatever. And I was just like, so that was at Audi Stadium, and like 2 to 3 blocks. It was like about a block or two away from the Nat Stadium. And there was a bar that I went to after every game. I would just wear the clothes I'd go out in that night to the game. So I would walk after I'd shower, change, not like fix me up a little bit, just enough to get me to the bar. I walked to the bar with fans, and I'd go outside and meet up with fans and go drink with them in the bar, just for fun.
What the hell?
To explain the video, though, so my buddy Brady France, who I went to Louisville with, he's been my guy, my homie, and he was just like, dude, I'm bringing a bunch of the guys to the game. And he said, he's just like, all right, I'm going to see the game. I said, all right, sounds good, right? And he bought like standing room tickets, whatever like that. And and I was like, all right, cool. And I'm like, I don't pay attention. When I'm on the bench, like, since here, I was just like, I'm not paying attention to anybody who goes on behind me, right? But I'm hearing people like, boos, like screaming behind my head, right? And we're playing New York. And it's the end of the fourth. It's like ticking down at the end of the fourth quarter. We're up like 27-0 or 27-3. It was crazy. We're killing them. And so I'm running off the field after a field goal or after our conversion point, whatever it was. It wasn't a kick. It was like we did an extra point. It was like a 2-point conversion. It was an interesting way. I like the way XFL did that. But so the trainers were running out, like whatever. It's like, those hooligans behind the bench? And my buddy snuck so the way Audi Field is, the boxes are on the ground level. So they're right behind I look behind the bench now because we're up and like the game's pretty much over, and I see them. And I was just like, they're like, booze, oh my God. They're freaking out because I finally made eye contact with them during the game. And they're like, let's go, blah, blah. And I'm like, whenever I told them, I was like, hey, I'll see you after the game, right? And so as soon as the game ends, they're sitting right there. I go dap up my boy who was on Tampa Bay with me. He was the other tackle for the team. He was the left tackle, Gerard Jones. He was the other tackle. And I ran over, dapped him up and said, hey, man, good game. You play well. I'm out. I'll see you later. And I've run over to my boys, and they're like, my buddy Brady, like, passed me the beer. And I said, all right. I was going to take my glove off. I grabbed it wrong. So you see me grab it like this and just start chugging it this way. And so one of his friend's girlfriends recorded that. And then ESPN messaged her and was like, can we use this video? And so that's how it went viral. So it was kind of cool, like, in that regard.
Dude, well, it had to be
warm. No.
Was
it was cold.
Warm
it was
beer?
cold. So you got to think it was.
Oh, okay.
The XFL was March, April area. So it was cold out. And, cold beers, they were good to go. They had, I think it was a Coors Light. But it was great, though. I enjoyed it. It was good. And then, I'm, walking out of the tunnel, getting ready to go down the tunnel because that's the soccer field you go down where the locker rooms were. And, another fan, came out and said, dude, chug this. I was like, all right, started drinking that, and I gave it back to him, and like went down
in the tunnel.
No, like it was before I went down to the locker room, so I drank that beer, and then when you get down in the locker room, the league is sponsored by Bud Light, so the Bud Light seltzers came out that year, and so they had like buckets of Bud Light seltzers that you could drink after the game. It was great. So, like, I had, like, one. There was a lot of people in the locker room, so I got, like, one, right? And then one of the other games, they posted, we won, and I grabbed two of them, and I stone cold them. I went, bam, bam, and I freaking chugged them. I slammed them together and drank them in the locker room. I went on a video. Wasn't my finest because I squeezed the can, and half of it went this way. But
whatever.
Hey, nobody's looking at that. They're like, get it.
Yeah, they see number 69 and his last name's Boozer, and they're like, okay, he's my favorite player.
Taylor, you know what's funny? So
Bro just
the guy
stone cold it.
So the whole training camp was in Houston, and I met Taylor Heineke, and he was on the St. Louis Battlehawks, and we were like, whatever. And I saw him in the locker room the one day. He like chugged the beers in the locker room in St. Louis for one of that thing went kind of viral. So I was like, dude, I'm going to beat that. Like, my name's Boozer. I'm number 69. So I slammed the beers.
Yeah, dude.
Or like that. So it was good, though. It was a cool experience.
Did you ever
send that? You beat it.
Did you ever send that to him and be like, yes?
No. I didn't have Taylor Heineke's number, but, you know, I did get to see him when I got signed to Washington for a day or two.
Nice, dude. I gotta be honest. I saw. I don't remember which game it was, but he was on a plane. Did you see this
where he's chained up and he's got the beers. He always got the bush latte. He's got all the bush lattes in a little bucket for himself. Yeah, it was cool. That dude's the man. He's a good dude.
And then he goes on Pat McAfee.
He's a really good.
He goes on Pat McAfee.
Yeah, he's a good dude though. He was a really good dude.
Now, so you guys had beers in your coolers after the XFL and the NFL. I'm guessing no beers in the coolers.
It was not that. But we did, as an offensive line, every time we won, we took a tequila shot after the game. So we'd go, like, in the back.
Okay, so that's a real thing.
We went in this little back corner area like that, and, like, nobody was around. But, like, the offensive line coach, and we were like, all right, like, he's, like, pouring tequila shots. Not him, but, like, the guys are pouring tequila shots for each other. We're all drinking. We'll throw the one back. So it was cool.
Yeah.
Dude, that's funny. Well, they always say that, you know, after a really good run, that a solid cold beer is good for you.
Of course.
The way to go.
All right, it's the move. So if you're coming off the football field, start chugging.
Would you say that offensive line is the closest group on a football team?
I would say that because you got 5 guys on the plane at one time, and then just, I don't know, it's everywhere I've kind of been, they've always been really close. And it's kind of cool because they're usually like the funny guys, or like they're always interesting. They're either a little weird, a little funny, like they all like end up like hanging out together at the end of the day because they're just like, dude, like I play next to you the whole time, like whatever. Because you go to other groups and sometimes they're all spread out doing their own thing. Like we're always like, let's go drink or let's go do something like together.
Yeah, I mean your guys' locker stalls are all nut to butt, aren't they? So
sometimes, like everywhere. Like here, it was a little weird, a little different, but yeah, it was all pretty close.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
That's hilarious. Just taking tequila shots after a win.
I mean, I would do that too. Like, I don't even know why anybody would try to find that.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that's camaraderie.
You know, it is what it is. You know, that's the NFL, but still fun.
So I do have. I kind of want to bring a little bit of NFL more conversation in because I personally think that's like, I mean, you made it to the top, right? Like that's where the goal is, and I think that's sick. And I really have a question about Jameis Winston. Is that dude fucking wild?
No, he's a great dude. He just... Everybody gives him such a bad rap, dude. That guy is a genuinely good person. Like, I'm not kidding. Like,
yeah, I believe it. It was just the W-Eaton thing. I wasn't
there for that. but like I said again, that dude was great. He was really good at the lineman. Like, so I'll tell you a quick story. So my training camp, my rookie year, I got a concussion during camp. I was out for 3 weeks. Like, this was like one of my last concussions. It was pretty bad. Not like whatever. Yeah. It just took me a while to get back. And my agent told me, he's just like, dude, you got to play the 4th game. or else they gotta figure something else out. And I was just like, all right, I'll figure this out. I haven't practiced in however long, but we'll figure it out, right? And so I'm just like, all I can do is just be mentally super prepared for this game, right? And so then I'll be able to figure it out. And I was like, I'm in the film room, right? And James walks in, right? And I'm just watching film. And I was like, hey, James, like, can you help me out real quick? He's like, what's up? How can I help you? I was just like, hey, like, I'm trying to, like, figure out some tendencies and stuff. Like, whatever, he helped me out. So, he helped me, like, walk me through some stuff and, like, really helped me out. It was really cool. But, like, really good dude, awesome, down-to-earth guy. Like a lot of the guys are. Like, everybody puts these guys on a pedestal, and they really just, like, normal guys. Like, really cool dudes.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem. It's like the stigma. It's like you're in the public eye ever since you're a freshman, pretty much, and it's like all the mess ups that you make are on national television, and then people have their own narrative about you, and that narrative sticks. And I've literally only ever heard that Jameis was a good teammate, a good dude, and it's just like you can't judge someone when they're 19, 20 years old in the spotlight, because how would you handle that if you were in the spotlight?
It's really tough when it comes to that stuff, especially how good of a college player he was. Like, it's just like you're a Florida State at their prime. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's nothing but media coverage 24/7, and it's like you do one bad thing, and then those things just start to snowball, and it's like now people have a narrative about you, and I just think that's unfair.
Just to be clear, I don't think the W eating was a bad thing. That was hilarious. I was just curious about the guys in general. But I will say this, like, going back to the pedestal thing, I've already told Dave that if you ever got any like starting Philadelphia Eagles player on this thing, I can't be a part of it because I'll fangirl too much. You know what I'm saying? He'd have to be like, Matt, you got to go, bro. Like, get off the scene. Hang up.
So we've taken up a lot of your time. We're at an hour now. I just wanted to know the different. There's a couple more questions.
Dude, go ahead. I've got time, dude. I'm gonna be here probably a little bit longer. I mean, I got time. It's fine. It's gonna be a little late night for me, but that's no big deal. It's not like I'm not used to that at this point.
Well, we appreciate your time. We really do.
Definitely.
So what's the biggest difference between the NFL and XFL when it comes to like player talent? Is it like a massive drop-off?
I wouldn't say that because you got dudes who have played in the NFL who go to the XFL, right? They're kind of. When I played in the XFL, it was more for tape. Like, I wanted to get paid, right? But like, I needed tape to get back to the NFL. That was the goal. And there are guys, there are dudes that are really talented, and then there is a drop-off, right? But it's not a huge drop-off. You know what I mean? You're still playing with dudes who have been training, to do the same thing you've been doing, or have been in the league and just, are trying to get another shot. Like, I play with, like Scooby Wright, if you guys know who he is.
Okay.
Arizona won the Defensive Player of the Year, like, had the most sacks that one year, his sophomore, junior year. Really good dude. But that guy was a dog. Like, that dude, one of the hardest hitting linebackers I've ever gone against. He's coming downhill, and you're like, poof, oh my gosh. Like, you know what I mean?
Fucking dog mentality.
Shark dog for him. He's a dude. He got the shark dog stuff.
So the XFL, you're saying is like, it's just another opportunity. Yeah, I mean,
100%. Now the way that going forward, that was that league. Like, I don't know how The Rock is going to present his league. I'm sure it's going to turn into something, and you'll see the pay scale is not going to be great at first, but that's every league. Every new league coming out. You can't pay guys like the NFL does because the NFL has huge TV contracts, big-time owner billionaires, and all that stuff.
Massive endorsements.
So, like, you'll see the pay scale won't be NFL level. That's okay, right? You're there to show out and do well at the end of the day. You want to make it back to the NFL.
And you're still making good money.
Yeah, I mean,
like, compared to a normal job, right?
It's not NFL money, but it's like it's sustainable, I guess you could say, depending on how you use your money.
So do you think someone could make a career out of the XFL and just retire after that then, or?
if you're smart with money, I think you still got to work a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would say I would keep that as a job or as a career, because the amount of a lot of the thing my offensive line coach preached here and I took to the NFL and everywhere else was your body's your money. So you got to spend lots and lots of money just to keep your body going, like treatments and ice and stim and massages and stuff like that. Like, if we're getting into the whole take care of your body stuff, like my trainer back at home before I retired, I was paying $60 a session 3 times a week. I looked at the math. I ended up spending $10,000 in a year just on training alone.
Jeez.
And then that's not including my nutrition stuff. And then I had to get supplements and stuff like that. And, it's a very, you still got to work out. Like, that's at the end of the day. Like, your body is how you stay alive in how to play professional football.
Right.
I was just, and the massages, like, I'm spending $150 a session for an hour and some change. But now that she's, Dr. Heron, she works with Ravens and Jets players and stuff like that, and a couple other players around the league, and she's phenomenal. Like, she's based out of Towson, great person though, and phenomenal massages, and she does needling and cupping and all the nine. It's great, and I just really try to help her. I gotta move a little bit because my phone's gonna die, so I'm gonna put it on the charger. So just bear with me.
Yeah, no worries, no worries, dude. That's so. When you're talking about taking care of your body, Matt and Cole, when you look at athletes like LeBron James, who spends over $1 million a year on his body,
my man Tom Brady,
and Tom Brady too. I mean, that is wild. You can only afford that if you are those people. So it's like they have these massive $1 million contracts, so they can afford $1 million a year. But when you're talking about someone who's on the league minimum, if you can't spend that $1 million a year, so that's a massive advantage, right?
So is that when you're taking advantage of what the league, your facility has to offer, or are you guys
training in your place wherever it is? So for example, it'd be Tampa, right? Like, I could get nutrition, I could work out with the staff, right, in the off season. I can't they can't physically train me, but they can tell me what to do based off of the NFLPA rules and stuff. And, they have smoothies there. They have food. Operation still works day to day there. They got some good food there in the NFL now. That's stricken.
I was going to say, is it true? I feel like every time I hear any athlete talk about their facilities food, it's
it's primo. I mean, steaks and salmon and all kinds of great stuff, every day. It was insane. The vegetables, and it was awesome. And you can make yourself a smoothie. They had all the supplies you needed, the proteins and all that stuff. It was great.
So then anything extra that you want to pile up on top of what they're already giving you just comes out of your pocket.
Yeah, essentially, whatever you need. If you were at home cooking or like that. I try to take food home from the facility. I box it up. I say, this is my dinner. I'm saving my money here.
Yeah.
That's funny, because I was just thinking about that New Heights podcast with Jason Kelsey and Travis.
I see it. I follow it. I follow it on TikTok a little bit, and it's pretty funny. It's some good stuff.
That shit is fuck yeah. That's some hilarious shit. But they always talk about how they just take food home with them, and I'm like, bro, I'd be all about that.
Save money any way you can.
Yeah. I would never be grocery shopping.
Hey, speaking of money, you said that you bought a custom set of golf clubs. Did you splurge on anything when you got signed?
I leased my first car. I got a Chevy Silverado, 2018 Chevy Silverado, and it was awesome. Great truck. I love trucks, so that would have been my kind of deal to get that. Again, I had to get rid of it.
I got the Z71 Trail Boss.
That's what I wanted that next truck to be. I'm trying, man. I'm trying to get money like you, man. I'm trying to get a Trail Boss. But
what do you mean? You're going to be the next coach of head coach of Temple. You're going Yeah, you're going to be getting all the money.
We'll
I don't want to
see.
hear it. You're going to be pulling up in a G-Wagon.
No. G-Wagon's bad.
Yeah, don't worry. Tampa Bay will come knocking for you to coach them soon enough.
I just want to get back to having a truck again. Right now, my uncle is gracious enough to let me borrow one of his cars from his dealership. So he's helping me out there.
Here we go with the
A
connections.
little bit of a connection there.
What you driving?
I'm driving.
What you driving?
I
What
don't
car
know
is
the
it?
year, but it's a Subaru Outback. He's a Subaru dealership guy. So I was like,
Okay.
dude, as long as I told him, I was
Yeah.
like, listen, just give me a car that goes A to B right now. I don't need nothing crazy.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, just pay for gas, and just if I need it back, just give it back. I said, yeah, it's fine, I don't care. I live 3 minutes.
That's a
3
good
minutes from the
setup.
facility.
Yeah.
Like it's not hard.
Oh, so sometimes you run to work,
no, it's
right?
not. No, it is. Right now, it's cold. I'm not. No, I'm driving to work every day.
That's funny. So,
Hey,
all right, real
ahead,
quick,
Matt.
I do have a question. This is more of a fan type question as an Eagles fan and everything. Like, how does it feel just being able to like be up in the link on a
It's
regular
awesome.
basis?
I mean, that was my home stadium for Temple. It's awesome. I love that stadium. I've known it forever. I've played in a bunch of NFL stadiums, and I think that's definitely one of my favorites for sure. You're probably not going to
That's what I
like
like
this
to
as
hear.
an
Minus
Eagles
M&T
fan,
Bank.
but the best stadium I played in is the Dallas Cowboys.
Don't say that to me.
Sorry.
Don't say that to me. Oh my god. So I actually went there to that stadium for a game, and bro, that shit's
I know.
like a
Well, that's
movie
what I'm
theater.
saying.
Let's be
It's
honest.
just like
That shit's
you're sitting on the bench and you're just like watching. You're like looking at the big screen. You're like, it's kind of uncomfortable to look at.
I wasn't on
It's
the
kind of
bench.
uncomfortable to look at the big screen, but like in general, it's really cool.
Dude, that jumbotron's
Oh, yeah.
fucking massive.
It's
I'm
huge.
like, Jesus.
I like
man.
to like you don't run out of a tunnel. You run out of the 50. So it's kind of cool. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, great. I don't have to run as far. And then like they have like there's like two boxes when you go out of the tunnel. They're two glass walls. And there's people like just like drinking and like whatever like that. Like there's like bars down there. And so they're just like
Turning
watching
up.
you go out the tunnel. And I was like, oh, it's awesome.
That's a terrible thing for the opposing team.
Oh,
generally,
yeah.
though. Like, let's be
100%,
honest. You walk out there and
100%.
if the Eagles show up, it's not a good time.
That Jumbotron in Dallas is definitely a target for all punters.
Oh, 100%.
They have
I think
to
that's
be.
why they raised it though. I think the first year I think they were kicking into it, and then they're like, all right, we got to raise this up a little bit.
You're like, bro, some of these punters are just boom hitting it. It's too easy.
Pat
That's funny.
McAfee was still, if he was still punting and he went to Dallas, he's like, screw my yardage,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
hitting that bitch. You can keep raising it as high as you want. I'm gonna hit it.
So now that you're out of the league and everything, right? You're coaching and all that stuff. What team are you watching? Like, do you just watch a variety of teams, or are you specifically?
So right now I can't watch a ton because we're in season. I don't have a favorite team. I'm fans of the guys that I played with, and that.
Okay. So you're still watching
Yeah, I
some
watch
of
the
the
Bucs
Bucs.
because I have friends on there, and I have friends in the Giants. Like guys from here, there's a lot of guys in my era, like that made it to the NFL or still in the NFL, and so like it's a lot of like I'm watching them, like I'm pumped, like whatever, and I got guys on the Carolina Panthers, I got like the Steelers, the Vikings, like it's all over the place, like but it's cool, like I can just be like, yeah, like
Oh, the Vikings.
like let's go, like I'm pumped for my guy, so.
Yeah.
That's legit. Well, then
That's super cool.
so I have this question that one of our friends had asked, and I'm not sure, if you're not super invested in watching the Bucs play and all that, I don't know how if you have the full answer or be able to really answer it. But he asked, his biggest question is, what you think of the offensive? What do you think the Bucs offensive line needs, and whether or not they would be better by putting Richard White in at running back over Fournette?
Rashad.
I don't know if I could answer.
what's
I don't
messed up
know
is
if I
I
could
read it.
answer the running back question. I think they have the pieces of the line. I just think they're injured. I think it's still a good offensive line, but I think that they're missing Ryan Jensen. That's a huge piece. That dude, when I was down there, that guy, great dude. The year he came to the Bucs, he just came from the Ravens. And so,
Yes, he
but
did.
really good dude. Like we could relate a little bit. Like we're talking about Baltimore and stuff like that. Really good dude. that guy's really smart and he's physical. He's a mauler. Like, he's one of those dudes who's like, he brings his lunch pail to work type guy. And I just think a lot of the time, like, it's injuries that are kind of plaguing him a little bit. But I think, again, like, I still think it's a good offensive line. I just think, again, missing him is kind of a big piece.
Yeah, I remember. I think I was hearing a bunch of chatter about that Tom Brady went to Tampa, one because of the weapons, and then also because he knew he had Ryan Jensen under center. And it's when you have a dog like that under center that's literally willing to fight after the whistle if you hit my quarterback.
He's
all
a dude
stuff.
now. He like I said, that guy's a mauler. He is physical. He's a physical dude, strong too.
Hell yeah. All right, Cole. So I got one more question for you. What's the future hold for you in coaching? What's your goal? Where do you want to end up? Like, what are your aspirations here?
We'll see what happens. It's a lot of commitment right now to this. I'm still kind of like feeling everything out. Like I said, I'm young. I'm trying to figure this whole thing out with this whole coaching thing. If I want to coach, if I don't want to coach, it's a lot of just figuring it out, because college football it's a lot of recruiting. It's a lot of time. You don't get a lot of time as a position coach off. You're moving. You're always going to recruit kids and stuff like that. So I got to figure that out myself. But I'm just, like I said, I'm just happy to be here back in my school and trying to bring back the culture that they had, that we had when I was here. I'm trying to help Coach straighten out. And I think that's one of the reasons why he helped me, or he wanted to get me here, is to try to help him bring back some of the culture that was instilled before, with the whole single digits and just the toughness part of it, and just trying to help out as best I can.
Well, hell yeah, dude. You guys, if I'm not mistaken, you guys have the senior game coming up on
senior
Saturday,
day,
right?
we play ECU. So
there you go. What do you guys think about that? Is ECU good? Honestly, I'm not
they're
sure.
6-5. They're very physical. They play like with a mean streak in them. Very talented athletically wise. But I think we have a good defense, and I think offensively we kind of fell back a little bit last game. But the past two games before that, SMU, we had like 500 yards and like we scored a ton. Like, I think that it's clicking. Like we're getting there. We're reaching that point.
Nice.
We're not going to go to a bowl game this year, which stinks. But we're building the culture, right? We want to build hope, and we want to build this team to where it's going to be in the future. Where we were when I was here, we were like a top 25 program. Back to when it was in the day.
Nice, dude. Well, I'm super happy for you. I'm super excited. I think it's super cool that you get to coach your younger brother. I mean, that is a blessing.
Yeah.
It really is. Have family nearby. We look forward to watching you guys on Saturday. I'm going to tune in on that for a little bit. And
Same.
dude, I can't thank you enough for your time. I really appreciate it.
Of course,
It's been
thank
awesome.
you guys for having me on the podcast. Matt, nice to meet you, man.
Hey, it's nice to meet you, bro. Thank you.
Hey, absolutely, Cole. I appreciate it, man.
All right,
We'll talk
good,
to you
Dave.
later.
I'll see you. Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right. See ya. Bye.